Hi folks, welcome to another episode of My Life with Robert Burns. Jim Thompson and Douglas Mackenzie here again to talk to two of our cronies from around the Burns world. Hi Jim, how are you getting on?
Doing great, Douglas. It's raining again in Kilmarnock as it has done for the last 10 years. But other than that, everything's fine.
I think our summer with global warming means that we're going to get rain, but the rain might be quite warm.
I'm just hoping, I'm off to England tomorrow. I've had enough. Got any hot chocolate, so I'm off to there.
No bother. Right, folks, tonight we've got two guests instead of the normal one. As Bletherskyte, they're very well known in the Burns circuit, but they also have other talents, which we'll talk about as we go through this podcast. Cronies everywhere. Please welcome Alan McMillan and Alec McCallum. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hello there, we're fine, Douglas and Jim. Nice to be invited on to this prestigious platform. We've seen many people on it and we know a lot of them. So
Very good.
I hope we can do it justice.
Well, you know that we always start off with the same question. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I think probably we need to get you to do that individually. So maybe you could start with that, Alan.
Yeah. I'm Alan McMillan. I'm from Cumnock, and my father, Jim, was a bricklayer, and my mother, Margaret, was a bus conductress, or clippy, if you want to use that term. From three of our family, I'm the youngest. Elizabeth, my elder sister, and Jim is my elder brother. I was born in Ayr Road in Cumnock in the house, and they told me that on the morning of my birth, the ceiling fell in. So I must have made an impression of sorts. After that, we moved to the brand new housing scheme up at Burshare, and I spent my childhood there in the 60s before moving back down to Heath Road in Cumnock near the bus garage when I was pretty close to Cumnock Academy to get my schooling there in my secondary years. I went on from Cumnock Academy into Glasgow Art School, where I did a degree in drawing and painting. I then got a job at Auchinleck Academy as an art teacher with Willie Strachan as my boss. And when Willie moved on to his promotion, I ended up as the principal teacher of the art department there for 21 years. I took a very good community group for about 20 of those years. And of course, Douglas, your wife Sheila, was a great pupil of ours at one time with her art skills. I took early retirement at the age of 55. I'd had enough of education and seeing the wheel being reinvented, but it's given me time to get involved with my own work and also writing poetry and doing a bit more singing and things like that. So no regrets, and I've had a pretty good life so far.
Very good. And in the middle of that, you built a house as well, didn't you?
We did indeed. Well, I did my best to help, but the man next to me knew more about it because he was on to building his second house. And maybe he can tell you a bit more about the house building.
About the challenges of house building.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Alec, that's a good link over to you. So,
well, I was born in Auchinleck. I was born in 5 Connor Avenue, Auchinleck. But when I was born, I was kind of blue, I was told, because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. So, anyway, I managed to survive that.
Yeah.
So I lived in Auchinleck. Went to Auchinleck Primary School, Auchinleck's Junior Secondary School, I think actually it was called at that time. Just I moved to Auchinleck Academy just at the cusp of the introduction of the comprehensive education system.
Mhm.
So a big new school in Auchinleck, and I was among the first intake there. Anyway, at school in Auchinleck, I fell foul of the regime because I wasn't quite compliant with the regulations set down by Mr. Crichton, who surprisingly got away with an awful lot by Ayr County Council at the time. I mean, this was the introduction of the comprehensive education system, which did away with the 11 plus and the kind of elitist grammar school system. But Crichton was still allowed to have his staff going about in academic gowns in a place like Auchinleck, a mining community serving, all of these mining villages, and the staff were stoating about in academic
Like
gowns.
Harry Potter.
It was a bit like that. Anyway, I survived 3 years at Auchinleck Academy, and then we parted ways. One of the things that I fell foul of the system was because of my hair. It's hard to believe now when you see my head the way it is, but at one time my hair was down to here, and that didn't go down well. Anyway, I moved to Cumnock Academy, and it was quite a contrast because Cumnock Academy was much more an educational establishment that very much adhered to the comprehensive ideal, and there was no streaming in classes up until you had done your O levels. So it was mixed ability classes right up until then, till your fourth year, which led for much more colourful interactions, I would say. Anyway, that's when I met Alan, and Jimmy McMillan and Robin Forrett, and these guys, and we've been friends ever since. And that was the kind of beginning of our singing together, really. Because Jimmy, who was very much into music, and that was going to be his life, really, and it has proven to be a fairly fruitful life, really, when you see what he's achieved. But anyway, it was Jimmy that got us into school choirs. So that was the kind of beginning of serious singing for us, harmony singing, and realizing that our voices blended really well together. And a lot of the stuff that we sang was madrigals and Latin masses and things like that, which were quite unusual for us. But at the same time, we did also do a bit of folk singing and that kind of thing, and that was when we started to realise that our voices blended pretty well together. So I went on from Cumnock Academy to Glasgow College of Technology, which is now Caledonian University.
Also known as Caledonian McBrain.
But I went on and I did a degree in social sciences, so politics, sociology, economics, and then when I graduated, I found it difficult finding work. That was the beginning of it would be 82 thereabouts. So I couldn't find any work that I really wanted to do. I was interested in journalism a bit, but opportunities were few and far between, and a lot of the newspapers were newspapers that I wouldn't want to write for anyway. Anyway, I ended up doing some voluntary work in Cumnock, and from that went on to do a social work course at Dundee University. So when I qualified as a social worker, I worked in Midlothian to begin with. Then I moved across to Airdrie, and I worked as a school-based social worker in Airdrie for a couple of years. Then I moved to Castlemilk in Glasgow, and I worked there for a couple of years. And then I moved from there into Blantyre, working with young offenders in Blantyre. And then from there, I moved down to Dumfries and Galloway to Stranraer to work. And that was when I first built a house. Because my wife Patricia and I, we had quite a notion of building our own house. But doing that up and about Lanarkshire and Glasgow wasn't very handy because there wasn't very many building plots available that were within our price range. And I guess also Patricia's Irish, and I think was hankering to go back to Ireland, but her family are in the north of Ireland, and at that time it was the height of the Troubles.
Yeah.
And as a social worker working with offenders, I didn't really relish the prospect of working in the probation service, where essentially you're having to be, looking over your shoulder every minute of the day to see who's going to be coming breathing down your neck. Anyway, we moved to Stranraer, built our house in Castle Kennedy, and then the rest of my working career was based down in Dumfries and Galloway, mainly in Stranraer, but then latterly from about 2014 onwards, I was based across in Dumfries.
Right.
But by that time, I had moved back up into Ayrshire. We moved back up into Ayrshire in 2003. Because I had decided then that, things were getting worse in Stranraer in terms of, employment prospects and developments within the community and all of that. Stena were moving out of Stranraer. So it was becoming a bit of a backwater, more so than it had been before. And opportunities for the youngsters, we felt, were going to be much more limited as time went on. So we moved back up into Ayrshire, and Alan and Barry were looking to move house at the same time, and we found this plot in Cross Hill big enough to build the two houses. And our friend Campbell McIntyre worked alongside us and designed houses to suit us. And then he led the process through the planning. We ended up having to go to the planning committee because the planning officers refused us planning consent for the house styles because there were trees on the site, and they said they didn't want the trees cut down. Anyway, the committee of councillors overturned that ruling and said people are more important than trees. There's enough trees in Cross Hill and the surrounding area. We need people. So that was a good decision. Anyway,
and the rest is history, is it?
Aye, and then I get promotion. I ended up being the head of criminal justice social work in Dumfries and Galloway from 2014 until I retired in 2019.
Right.
and I was based in Dumfries.
Mhm.
So I was travelling from Crosshill to Dumfries quite a lot. Most days actually until
And then,
the development of this kind of stuff, Zoom
Uh,
and Skype. And then I was able to work from home and do Skype meetings and all of that, which saved me a bit of travelling.
mhm.
Brilliant.
So, and then when I retired, I've been doing sort of DIY stuff. And one of the things that I had really wanted to do, I've had the notion of building a hand-carved rocking horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of doing that just now. I've been in to the Rocking Horse shop in Yorkshire, and they led me through a carving course, and the product was the head of my rocking horse. So I've
Wow.
got the head, I've got all of the body parts cut, ready to assemble and to carve. So that's the next stage. So I'm just getting my garage sorted out so that it's a better environment for doing that kind of stuff.
Great.
So
Brilliant.
that's kind of quick potted history.
That's your story. You missed out the fact that Jim Thompson knew your father.
Oh, aye.
Aye,
He's a good pupil,
aye,
Jim. Aye.
aye.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll probably come on to talking about that, but my father's certainly been the biggest influence on me in my life, in all aspects of my life. But Burns in particular, I suppose it would be my father's influence that really was the earliest memory I have is my father reciting Burns poems to us as Waynes,
Yeah.
reciting Tam O'Shanter, and then later on encouraging us to participate. I remember one time when we were students, Alan and myself and Jimmy and
2 or 3.
two or three others, my father tried to get us involved, and he was recording himself reciting Tam O'Shanter, and he wanted us to put it to be the
Witches.
the
Warlocks.
the warlocks and witches and all the sound effects and all that kind of stuff, all the drunks in the background and all that. So that was good fun.
Anyway, before we go on to talking about Burns, and I'm sure we'll come back to your father's involvement as well, and maybe even your brother's involvement. Tell us a bit about Bletherskyte. Was that the natural progression from you singing the harmonies in the school choir?
Yes, it would be. Because I think once I had moved to Cumnock Academy, I moved to Cumnock Academy at the beginning of my fourth year. And I met up, I mean, Alan was already in an established friend group with Jimmy, Robin Forrett, Robert Gardner, Jim Anderson. And I joined that friend group. And a lot of the discussion was about music, about rock bands and all of that. And we organised trips to Glasgow to the Apollo to see various rock bands, and Deep Purple and Uriah Heep and Hawkwind and Ian Dury and the Blockheads and all of that kind of stuff,
And although I was taught the piano when I was young, so that was my instrument. I then learned the guitar, but I didn't have a guitar until I got to art college, and Alec and I shared flats, student flats. But then I had a guitar, so we were able to go out and play in a few local pubs and things, folk nights. So
did you play other music than folk music? Did you go from the choral stuff to the folk music, or were you actually playing rock or pop or whatever was in between?
Well, Alan did.
I did.
What did you play?
For the
Was it just kind of covers of what was?
it was just things like all the working men's clubs bands would play at the time. just whatever was popular. I learned the bass as well because my brother Jimmy had a bass guitar. So I was playing piano and organ if it was there, yeah, sometimes guitar and bass. But I was never a lead singer. My voice is too low. I realised that Alec, with that tube being wrapped around his neck, he had a higher voice. So I always took the harmony. And of course, I do the same in the choir, but we're still singing in air choral, actually, which has got about 100 members.
Oh, very good.
So we're still holding the men's section there.
Uh,
We enjoy it, you know. There's nothing better than singing and for music getting people together.
so as a folk duo in Bletherskyte, when did that happen?
Well, I guess the first iteration was
Three-piece.
a three-piece. There was myself and Alan and Jimmy McMillan. So Jimmy played the whistle and provided a third harmony. And also sometimes keyboard. And we would play in folk clubs. We played it. There was a folk club in the market in Auchinleck. At that time, that would have been the early 80s, I think. Was it before that?
People
The
like
late
Ian
70s.
came to
Aye. Bobby was involved in that, I think.
Aye.
He was involved in the organisation of that. Him and Kevin Walker and I think what's his name? Jim Morrison, I think, maybe.
And we also got a few gigs up at the Logan Gate at the time. They held the folk nights, St Andrews,
Aye.
and eventually we were invited to the Logan Gate Burn Supper.
Aye. And you know, we played at Ayr Folk Club as well. They and Girvan. So mainly around about Ayrshire. But sometimes in Glasgow as well. I mean, I think at that time, and I can't remember. I think at that time we were calling ourselves Gibbet Airns.
It was another line borrowed for Burns.
Aye, for Tam O'Shanter. The Murderer's Banes and Gibbet Airns.
That's fun.
So we played during the miners' strike. We played at various places to raise money for the miners.
The Town Hall.
Town Hall and Logan Working Men's Club, and there was a couple of pubs in Glasgow.
Yeah. We met Mick McGarchy at the time, didn't we?
Aye, he came to one of the ones in Glasgow.
So why Bletherskyte? Maybe explain to the audience why you chose the name.
Well,
it's just a great name, isn't it?
well, I suppose it kind of sums up the kind of folk that we are, Bletherskytes, dockers of rubbish. I suppose, and I guess that was kind of taken for another folk song, Maggie Lauder. Jog on your gate, you blithering skite. My name is Maggie Lauder. So Bletherskyte.
I think it's a light enough name, you know. It conveys a feeling of, you know, joyfulness. Hopefully a lot of stuff is upbeat and we're going to get folk enjoying themselves.
Yeah. Unlike
my earlier band in my, I don't know, I was 11 or 12. We were called The Acid, but we didn't know the connotations of the name. So we had to drop that.
Very good. And are you still playing much as Bletherskyte now?
On and off.
Aye. But we're not, I mean, it used to be We were out particularly around Burns supper time. We were out every
Heavily
weekend
traffic.
for weeks,
Mhm.
every Friday, Saturday. And it got a bit much at the time, particularly when smoking was still allowed.
That's
Aye.
right.
I mean, it was murder. Trying to sing in an atmosphere like that, it just wrecks your voice. And our clothes and the PA and instruments and everything were always stinking of cigarette smoke for weeks.
Changed days though.
Aye, very much so.
Aye.
Anyway, this would be an appropriate time for us to tell the audience that we've got a recording of you playing and a couple of non-Burns songs probably first, and we'll patch them into the podcast.
Yes.
You want to tell us about the two songs that you've chosen?
Well, the song Johnny Todd is a 19th century folk tune. It's traditional. There's a version which refers to the sailor man coming back to the Liverpool Quay, and there's another version where he's coming back to the Greenock Quay. Well, of course, we're not biased. We prefer the Greenock version. And I know it's dear to your heart as well, Douglas.
It certainly is.
So, yeah, it's just a nice, good going song, that one.
Johnny Todd is in an ocean for to sail across the sea, and he's left his Indian Jeannie weeping on the Greenock Quay. Weep nae mair, my Indian Jeannie, pack your bairn upon your knee. I'll return until they married down upon the Greenock Quay. Johnny's gone in search of wretches for Australia he is bound, and some men his canvas breeches for to sail the world around. Weep nae mair, my Indian Jeannie, pack your bairn upon your knee. I'll return and we'll be married down upon the Greenock Quay. Many's the winter's night she's awaited for a ship out on the bay. Friends may say that you're forsaken, but she still can hear him say, weep nae mair, my Indian Jeannie, pack your bairn upon your knee. I'll return and we'll be married down upon the Greenock Quay. Then one morning bright and early in the springtime of the year, she spied a sail out on the water, bringing Johnny to his dear. Weep nae mair, my Indian Jeannie, pack your bairn upon your knee. I'll return and we'll be married down upon the Greenock Quay. Weep nae mair, my Indian Jeannie, pack your bairn upon your knee. I'll return and we'll be married down upon the Greenock Quay.
The other song is by Ewan MacColl, and it was written in 1961, and it's called School Days Over, and it's really talking about the young men being pulled out of school and sent down the pits, and having to put on their working man's gear and get learning their trade, as it were. So it's got a very different feeling about it, but it's a song that we both love.
It's a very apt song for us because we're from mining communities.
Yes.
My father was a miner, until he was invalided out of the pits in the early 50s when he contracted polio.
Yeah.
But my father's heart was always in the mining community.
Yeah.
And although my father went on to university and became a teacher, the Scottish Miner, when he graduated, did an article on him, and there was a photograph of him standing with his two sticks at the pit head at the Barony. It was taken at the pit head at the Barony, 1968, I think that was. And the headline was, "For Jimmy, the Barney was the best university."
Yeah. Yeah.
He was very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got that cutting for the Scottish Miner. But no, that you know, it's a really great song actually.
Yeah.
School days over, come on then, John. Time you were getting your pit boots on. Pull on your sock and moleskin trousers. Time you were on your way. Time you were learning the pitman's job and earning the pitman's pay. Come on then, Jim, it's time to go. Time you're working down below. Time you're handling a pick and shovel. You started the pit today. Time you were learning the collier's job and earning the collier's pay. Come on then, Johnny, it's almost light. Time you were off to the anthracite. The morning mist hangs o'er the valley. You started the pit today. Time you were learning the miner's job and earning the miner's pay. School is over. Come on then, John. Time you were getting your pit boots on. Put on your sock and moleskin trousers. Time you were on your way. Time you were learning the miner's job and earning the miner's pay. School is over.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was excellent, guys. It's tremendous. I'm sure our audience will really enjoy that.
Mhm.
Now, we've not talked much about Burns Alec mentioned Burns in relation to his dad, but I usually get Jim to pick up on the Burns part of this podcast, so I'll pass over to Jim.
Yeah, the first question is always the same for everybody, although there's a slight change here because I just one wee thing before we go further. When I was privileged to be the president of the Burns Federation one year, they asked me to do a message for the president, and in it I wrote, I first met Robert Burns as a 14-year-old in Ayr Road, Cumnock. There I was introduced by two stalwarts of the English department at Cumnock, Jimmy McCallum and Ian Hogg. They had a passion for works of Burns that was, where am I here? That was infectious. And within a very short space of time, I became an admirer as well. And that was your dad. So there's obviously something influencing me.
Aye.
So I'm assuming the likes of yourself, well, I know Bobby and I have talked often about it. You know, there was the things that were happening in your house even seemed to me to be special in relation to Burns.
Definitely.
Aye. Absolutely. I mean, my earliest memories of Burns was my father getting ready to go to Burns suppers. My father went to Burns suppers all round about Ayrshire. You know, suppers that were organised by the Miners' Union, by the Communist Party, by various Burns clubs. And I remember him getting ready to go. He would maybe be reciting a poem before he went out the door, or he would be singing a song. It would be depending on what he would been asked to do. And I guess my father was one of these folk that was a kind of one-man Burns supper. He could have done anything that he was asked to at Burns suppers. He's done, you know, Toast to the Lassies, Toast to the Drouthy Cronies, the Immortal Memory, recitations and sang songs. And we benefited from all of that in the house. I mean, he wouldn't do a toast to the lassies in the house per se, but he would practice some of the stuff sometimes, and sometimes later on when we were a wee bit older, he had his own Burns supper in the house. Where he would address the haggis, and then we would have a bit of singing and recitations and all of that. And I remember some of those, particularly in later years when we were teenagers up in Luga, when we moved up to the old schoolhouse up at Luga. And I can't remember who it was. Ian Todd, I think, that came one year, played the pipes. So, you know, all of that rubbed off on us. And my mother as well was involved in Burns suppers, because my mother used to go, she was involved in the catering for some of the Burns suppers. And so we heard about Burns suppers from my mother as well as from my father. She would talk she would talk about it in terms of her perspective, listening to some of these men and the speeches, which were sometimes not just risque but downright crude. And so my mother would make comment about some of them. You know, but I remember sitting up my father's knee and he would recite poems to us, you know, Tea Moose and Tam O'Shanter, and then later on, when we were a wee bit older, after he had been to Jordan Hill and qualified as a teacher, and he met Gordon Bishop. Gordon was a Glasgow man, who my father befriended and retained that friendship right up until he died. And Gordon as well was a great Burns scholar. He was also an English teacher. So him and Gordon would do the Twa Dugs, and you know, Gordon's kind of favourite poem, I think, would have been Holy Wally's Prayer. And I remember one time Gordon came to your house and we had the Burns supper in the house, and he got dressed up as like the wee Wally Winkie. Oh, and my father was very scathing. My father was very scathing about it, and tell him that. And he said, "I'm surprised that you fallen into that way of doing that poem, considering how well that you've recited it and got across the real sinister aspect of Holy Wally in the recitation of the poem, you know." And the wee Wally Winkie outfit really detracts from that really powerful aspect of the poem. My father thought, and I agree with him. So, you know, there was all of that kind of stuff going on, that me and Alan and Jimmy and all of my friends benefited from, because we were all part of it, and we would sing in these occasions as well. I mean, we would be still at school then, and we would have been singing Burns songs, harmonies, and stuff like that. You know.
What were favourite poems and songs?
For me, I would say the Twa Dugs, the very first poem in the Kilmarnock edition. And, I've actually got one here. It's a reprint from 2009. But they were off a Fane together, and Uncle Park and Thick together. That's me and him. We were just like the Twa Dugs. I love the social commentary and how he uses the Dugs to tell their life stories of the common man and the nabbery, really, and to contrast how can life be so different for people that are living in the same area. There's something no right with that, and Burns is spot on in the way he's captured it. So for me, that's my favourite poem. Songs, The Gowden Locks of Anna, for me, that's the one I love. About Anna Park down at the Globe Inn, and written about 5 years before his death. And also Lassie with the Lint White Locks, about Jean Lorimer, who was the neighbouring farm 3 miles from Ellisland. So I don't think we get to hear these songs enough. We're obviously requested to do things like Killiecrankie, Scots Wha Hae. We love these songs as well, but we like doing the other stuff that I've mentioned. And Alec, what about you?
Aye, well, I mean, for me, I agree with Alan in terms of the love songs. The Gowden Locks of Anna, for me, I think that's Burns' best love song. I would put it above Ye Fond Kiss, primarily because it's about it's from his real experience of his interaction with Anna Park. And it sums up all of the emotions and feelings that he had for the lassie, and which was quite clearly genuine. You know, when you listen to the words. Mary Morrison is also a really good love song. And A Man's a Man for All That is quite clearly One of the songs that would be in our top 5 Burns songs.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's again a social and political commentary, which is relevant as relevant now as it was when Burns wrote it, and needs to be sung as often as it can be, and for people to take note of the words.
Yeah.
And you see that in what's happening round about us now with the rise of fascism, and you know, the frightening prospect of that rearing its head again. These kind of songs and the kind of political commentary that runs through a lot of Burns' work is really quite relevant.
I think one of the things for me in a lot of these songs was Burns' awareness of what was going on in the wider world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fascinated with his ability to comment on things that were happening well out with his immediate area of involvement.
I agree with you there. I mean, take the Slave's Lament. It was in sweet Senegal. My foes did me enthrall for the land of Virginia. So he's commenting on the slave trade there. Again, where did he read about that? There must have been some kind of local pamphlet occasionally circulated, I would think.
Loads of circulations at that time.
Aye.
They put them all sorts of various things, but basically it was just what was happening in the world.
Yeah.
Aye.
And it's one thing to read about it, it's quite another to commit it to paper yourself, because that was quite a kind of, at times, dangerous thing for Burns to do. You know, he was treading a fine line with a lot of people. It just wasn't expected, so that's what makes him so unique, I think,
Yeah.
as a writer and a man.
Aye. I mean, quite clearly, he was influenced by the American Revolution and the French Revolution, and these things impacted on his works as well. And also, you know, his patriotism and his reflections on. I mean, I'm not sure whether Burns could be described as a Jacobite or no. I mean, his father, I think, was a Jacobite sympathiser, if not an active kind of supporter. But you know, when you think about, I mean, Burns was born only 14 years after the 45 uprising. And there's a similar distance between our birth and the end of the Second World War. And I suppose for us, that's been a huge impact on our lives. The Second World War and its aftermath. And I guess the Jacobite rebellion and its aftermath were still quite significant in terms of the social and political development that was happening in Burns' life. So, you know, strong parallels, I guess.
Yeah, fascinating. There's the sort of stuff you could talk about for hours with the parallels between what life was like in Burns' time and what life's like now. So, but I'm going to stop you there because we've got another couple of songs that you prepared for us. And I'm going to suggest that we'll leave them until the end of the podcast, but you can maybe tell us what you're going to do.
Well, I would like to sing for you I Walk and All, which is one of our favourite love songs. And I think it's because of the harmonies that we can kind of weave through. but it's a lovely song altogether. And the other song is, I suppose, Burns's own biographical song, There Was a Lad. There Was a Lad was born in Kyle. But we don't sing it to the tune that many folk know. We sing it to another tune that you can sing, Dainty Davy and the Gardener with his pedal.
Aye.
But as I was saying to Alec, you can interchange these pipe or fiddle tunes so easily with Burns because he had a great discipline for writing, lines of 10 syllables and making them all work out rhythmically. I think the man must have had a great rhythm inside him. When he was composing poetry and songs, he must have been walking around and just getting the rhythm going. And so you'll hear in the There Was a Lad that the tune fits perfectly with the words that he's written. So I hope you enjoy them.
Good. Well, as I said, we'll tag them on at the end of the podcast because I want to bring you back to other things that you guys are involved in. Alec was telling us about his carving of a rocking horse, which I'm sure is pretty fascinating, and might be able to do a full podcast on that at one time. I'm sure there's a Burns connection if you bring Tam O'Shanter into it.
You could.
But Alan, you mentioned that once you'd retired, you started doing your own stuff, and you mentioned poetry and art. So you maybe tell us a bit about that.
Well, when you're a teacher, you're always obviously looking to the younger generation. You're demonstrating drawing, you're demonstrating painting, but you never quite complete your own stuff unless you come home at night and are very dedicated. By that time, I had often run out of energy for dealing with the Mackenzies, etc. But as I say, I got back to getting my painting going again and really getting a feel for the Ayrshire landscape, which I had done around about the Cumnock East Ayrshire area, but now I'm down in Carrick. It has got a different feeling here, but it's no any better or worse. It's just a lovely place to live. And I've got a lot of inspiration. I'm only about 3 or 4 miles from the coast, so I work down at Culzean sometimes. I go into the hills, Galloway Hills are nearby. So I've got it all round about me. I'm involved with Open Studios Ayrshire, which is a yearly event, really, where we open up our houses and studios to the public. So that'll be the weekend of 11th, 12th, 13th of September. If anybody wants to come along, I'll be pleased to see you. I'm involved in another group which is starting in Kitmichael, which is the next village along here. They're called the Three Villages Creative Group, and we've got funding to try and get workshops and things going for the local community here. Because it is a rural area, it was felt that we needed more opportunities for folk, to do things. So there'll be a range of printmaking, crafts, pottery, willow weaving, not just painting and drawing. And then in August this year, I've been invited to Suitor Johnny's cottage, which is Johnny Davidson, made famous by Burns. But his cottage is now owned by the National Trust, and I've employed somebody to turn it into a wee gallery space. So I'm going to be sharing with another artist for the month of August. So you can see quite a bit of my work in there. And on top of the artwork, I'll be selling some poetry publications, because one of the things I did when I retired was I joined a writers group in Irvine at the Harbour Arts Centre, and I met people from different walks of life, and I thought it was a great thing just to write whatever you were feeling at the time. We would get set topics and things, and usually with me it came out as poetry, but with other people it would be a dialogue, a short story, something humorous. So I've managed to self-publish 4 books up until now. One of them is available on Amazon, but they get most of the money for that, and I get very little. But I do get pleasure out of sharing my work with people. If they enjoy it, that's fine. I could never make a living at it. I'm not in that league, but I do enjoy being creative. And as I say, my early retirement's allowed me to build up a lot more artwork than I would have had I been still working.
And you were telling us about a joint project that you've been working on, a bit more physical.
Oh yes, I wrote a poem for the Laprake Festival, and I think you were one of the people that started it up, am I right?
Well, Jim and I were involved in that, yeah.
And Jim as well. And it was the poem about the dry stone dyke. Whisht, to tell you the old stone dyke. It's been here our 200 year or more, and it's seen a wheen of changes. And it went on in that vein, but it was a celebration of the Scots language as well as the village of Muirkirk. But next door to us, we've got a pile of dry stone, which came from weavers' cottages. Now, Cross Hill was founded by the Irish weavers, and it must have been around the time of Burns that they came here, and they built a row of cottages, and we've built our own houses and the site of 2 of them. But with the stone that was left, Alex decided, a bit like Donald Trump, that he's going to build a wall between the 2 of us. Where it's going to be dry stone. And I believe he's been in a course, so I'll be following instructions. I'm humping the stone about, and we'll build it together like a wee jigsaw. So that's something to keep us at the pub at night.
Aye. The other thing that keeps us at the pub at night is the fact that there's no pub.
Well, it's a mile to get Michael. Come on.
When we first came to the village, there was 2 pubs.
Chased them all away.
Now there's none, which is a big pity.
Yeah.
Alan's been quite modest about his involvement with the forerunner of the Laprake Festival. We got involved in rebuilding a dry stone dyke in Muirkirk, and I was pitching for the funding, and was told that in order to get funding, I had to make it a bit more educational. So that involved the primary school in Muirkirk, but also got in touch with Alan, and he got one of his art classes, not only to one of the students in the class to recite the poem he's mentioned, but we got them to paint a mural for those who visited Muirkirk during the time we had the Laprake Festival. The mural was in full display in the gable end of the co-op in Muirkirk for many, many years, and very well remarked on and photographed. So it was great to have that involvement. And Jim remembers Laprake competition as well, because that kind of the involvement with Muirkirk, or Muirkirk as they prefer to call it, the involvement there was also with encouraging Scots language through the primary school, and a big supporter of that was John Morton, who was well known as a voice in the folk scene in Scotland. But the other thing he told us about was the fact that you're involved in the Air Choral, and also I believe you're involved in the Cumnock Trist, or Trist, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Can we finish off with telling us a bit about that?
I would say trice, Douglas, but I think of the trysting thorn, you know, on Burns.
Uh-huh.
But,
Yeah.
when Jimmy started it, he wanted a meeting place for Cumnock, and where the rivers meet, you know, the Glazenock and the Luga, that's really what gave him the name.
Mhm.
There is another group in Cumnock called the Glazenock.
The Glazenock Trist.
The Glazenock Trace.
Yeah.
Which is
Your
for-
father-in-law was involved
He
in it.
was, aye. It's more for, let's say, mature gents to meet up in.
It's all right. Jim and I know some of them.
They're maybe listening to this, but I have spoken at one of these events as well. But, so he called it the Cumnock Trist, and
Uh-huh.
it's doing very well. It's in its 12th year, I think, and he's bringing some world-class people to it, and musicians. But as you say, he's always involved the children, and particularly children with, you know, handicaps, learning difficulties. And it's amazing to see these children come into life as soon as they get involved with music and storytelling. And that's the kind of feeling that he wants. He's brought folk musicians for the conservatoire. Hannah Rarity's coming this year. She's one of the finest female folk singers that's about just now. We've had the Whistle Binkies and folk like that. So our involvement is, again, as the choir. They call it the festival chorus. So they get us to learn new pieces, and you have a very short space of time to do it, and it's quite high pressure. But again, you've got an orchestra behind you, and this year I think it's the RSNO, and he's managed to fit them into the new school at Cumnock, which is big enough to hold them. In air, I've been a member of the air choral, I think now for 25 years. And I lived in air for about 18 of these years before we came and built the house in Cross Hill. So I've always been tuned into the bass lines, and that's what I do. I learn the bass line, and I go along and try and support the choir as much as I can, because these choirs tend to be dominated by women. You know, there's
Uh-huh.
maybe 4/5 women and a fifth men, and particularly tenors like Alec are kind of thin in the ground.
Yes, like hen's teeth.
But what we've learnt a lot through the choir singing, because not only do you learn new music, but you actually get singing lessons that they teach you how to properly look after your voice, which is important, you know, given that we're not getting any younger. I mean, Alec and I, our way of looking after our voices is through this stuff here. It's Springbank 15-year-old.
Yes.
And
Regular gargling.
I would recommend it to all your listeners, you know.
Very good.
But they do talk to you a lot about your breathing and all sorts like this.
Very good.
So, yeah, we're getting a lot out of it. So it's a great thing to be involved in.
Absolutely.
Jim, is there anything else we want to ask these guys before we let the audience hear the music that they've recorded for us?
I know really. I think that they've told us who they are and explained their thing pretty well. But the only thing I would say is it's lovely that you're still involved in the idea of a Scots tongue.
Absolutely.
Aye.
You know, and some, I mean, I was reading, I've got a 7-year-old granddaughter and she's right into, you know, stuff. And there's one that's a conversion of Roald Dahl's, and it's called Geordie's Mingin Wilson. And I don't know whether and it's done in full Scots.
Mhm.
You go understanding full Scots to actually listen to it. It's absolutely hilarious and it's brilliant. And I love the idea. I mean, I mean, I was born in Newcombe and stayed used to my life in Auchinleck, basically before I grew up and moved on. But
Mhm.
um, the way that we spoke then is probably still the way we speak now.
Yeah.
Get a chance.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
But I think one of the things, Jim, that I remember at the primary school was you were definitely not encouraged
No.
to use
Oh no.
what they described as the language of the playground.
Right, well, when I went to Auchinleck Primary School, you get whacked out of the pond
Aye,
with right buff if
that's right.
something that was Scots and not English, because they were trying to anglify everybody.
Uh-huh.
And you're in a place where everybody speaks different. I mean, there's no two doubts about it, that particularly East Ayrshire.
But here's the flip side of the coin, Jim. As an ex-teacher, I'm very proud of Tracy Harvey, who's an ex-pupil of mine at Auchinleck. Tracy is writing fantastic poems, mostly in Scots, and not only writing them, but she's performing to a very high level. And I met her recently down in Girvan at an arts festival, and she was the star of the show, no doubt about it.
Lovely lassie. I sent her a picture. This is true. She'll kill me. I sent her a picture of her dad.
Yeah.
I think it must have been mid-70s. Him and I were in a course together.
All right.
Right. And she sent me straight back.
Hmm.
Right. I just sent the picture, and she come back. She says, Jim, we still got that suit.
Aye, very good.
That's what I love about it. It's just
I
special.
think the Scots language needs to be looked after, as you say. There's a lot of time given to the Gaelic, which is fine, but we do need champions of the Lowland Scots tongue. Jimmy Begg is a great champion. I've had advice from Jimmy, and I know Tracy has as well, about how to write and use the language. So we need more folk like that to keep it going.
And you guys keep it going as well with your music and with your poetry. So before we finish, I'm assuming you guys are up for bookings if MD wants to get in touch.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, aye.
Do you want to put the details at the bottom of the screen, Alec?
How do you do that?
It's all right. We can do. If you send us what you want, we'll put it on the end piece of the podcast.
The technician will manage.
Yeah.
He's very good. No problem.
That's brilliant.
That's good, yeah.
So it really just leaves us to say thanks very much for telling us about your lives and telling about your lives with Robert Burns. And we'll now let the audience hear the recordings that you did for us. So thanks very much. That's fantastic.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Douglas and Jim. Thanks a lot.
Summer's a pleasant time, with flowers of every colour, and the water runs o'er the hill, and I long for my true lover. I walk and high and weary, sleep I can't get none, or thinking o' my dearie, I walk and when I sleep I dream, when I walk I'm eerie, but sleep I can't get none, for thinking o' my dearie. I walking high and weary, sleep I can't get none, for thinking o' my dearie. I walking Lane night comes on, and all the lave are sleeping, and I think on my bonny lass, and I blear mine way greeting. I walking high and weary, sleep I can't get none, for thinking o' my dearie. I walking
There was a lad was born in Kyle, but wouldna day o' winna style, and did its hardly worth my while to be sae nice wi' Robin.
Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, rantin' Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, Robin.
The monarch's hymnest year but yen was 25 days begun. 'Twas then a blast o' January wind blew handsome in on Robin.
Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, rantin' Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, Robin.
The gossip keek in his lift, for she for leaves will see the proof. The swally boy will be nae coof, I think we'll call him Robin.
Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, rantin' Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, Robin.
He'll hae misfortunes great and small, but I have in them all. He'll be a credit to us all, we'll all be proud o' Robin.
Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, rantin' Robin. Robin was a roving boy, rantin' Robin, Robin.
But share is 3 times 3 mak 9. A sea by ilka score and line. This lad will dearly like her kin, so leaves me on the Robin. Robin was a roving boy, Banton Robin, Banton Robin.